selecting the stitch length and stitch width and selecting stitches on the Singer CE 677 couldn't be easier than selecting a button. So on this machine, you do have everything kind of preset as you turn the machine on. So let's just highlight what you see on screen. The first box is the stitch number. So as you go to a different stitch, you'll see that the number appears, plus you'll see length and width changing. Now I'm going to identify which is which here. So stitch number 1, when you are sewing, and by the way, you'll be able to adjust the settings while you sew. So if you've stepped on the foot control and you want to make the stitch length longer, you can do just that. You can push the button while the needle is going up and down. Now, did you notice that when I pushed the plus sign, the box that was around the number disappeared? So the default setting for stitch number 1 will show with the box around it. As soon as you start to change, higher or lower, for example, you'll see the box disappears, indicating that you're on a different number, and just to be aware. Now, the easiest way to clear out any adjustments you've made is to reselect that same stitch. Stitch number 1, look, boxes reappear around the number, bringing you back to the default setting. You could also turn the machine off and turn it back on. That's easy too. Now, in a straight stitch, this number in the middle that says 3.5, notice there's a little picture of needle position above it. So you don't really make it wider when you're on stitch 1, a straight stitch. You actually adjust the needle. Now you might be able to see over here the needle is moving to the right, and then if I go the other way, the needle is moving to the left. We'll talk more about needle positions, but just note that that is what you're changing on a straight stitch when you adjust where width is normally changed. So I'm going to go ahead and choose number 1. That will put the boxes and everything kind of back to normal. If I pick a zigzag, so stitch number 5, it automatically brings me up to a zigzag width of 5.0. By the way, these numbers are millimeters, so even if you're not familiar with millimeters, you tend to start to get used to it when you own a sewing machine. So you can, again, make it all the way as wide as 7.0. That's the widest zigzag it will sew. And then you can also adjust the stitch length to spread it out or bring it closer together, whichever way you want to go. If you want to go back to a straight stitch, touch number 1. If you want to come back to the zigzag, that will have cleared out anything that you have changed to that stitch. So it's super easy to kind of work your way around. You'll also see on screen if your needle is programmed to stop up or down. So with a touch of this button, you can have the machine always stop with the needle in the down position. That's a handy bit to know because if you want to turn a corner, that needle will stay in your fabric, allowing you to easily pivot right where your last stitch was made. So I do use that quite a bit, and then you can use the button right here to bring it up, and you're not turning the hand wheel to bring it to the highest position. You can do everything with just the buttons. This little slot here will open up and show you your stitches. Now, I was noticing there is a group of stitches kind of in folder 1 and folder 2, but then I noticed, well, where are the rest of them? And then I realized there's 2 pages. Okay, that is brilliant right there. That's so clever. So group 3 and group 4 is our letters, numbers, and symbols that we'll go over when we start to put designs together in the memory of the machine. So if you want something from group 3 and you want stitch number 28, you'll go to the M button, and let's just say that stands for menu. So we have a little folder with a 1. When we touch it, folder 2 comes up, folder 3, and folder 4. So whichever one we wanted, so was it group 3 in stitch number 28 to 8, and now that stitch is all ready to stitch. If you want to get back to a straight stitch, well, 1, you could turn the machine off and turn it back on, or touch the M until folder 1 comes back up, and it'll pick the first stitch from that group, which happens to be the straight stitch. So just know that down here, you've got all your stitches that you need right at your fingertips at any given time. And we're going to talk about sewing out a stitch book. So you have a nice little reference. Believe me, those decorative stitches look so much better stitched out than they do just pictured on the machine itself. So just know that whatever stitch that you pick, you can adjust the width, and you can adjust the length for lots of different looks throughout your sewing. So if you need it to look smaller for a more petite project, you can reduce the stitch width and shorten the stitch length. And vice versa, you can make it look even bigger. And when you want to get back to a straight stitch, touch stitch number 1 and everything goes back to normal. That is one thing nice about a computerized machine. So play around with your stitches, stitch a few of them out, try some different widths and lengths, and before you know it, you're going to know every part of this machine. So we have tutorials in a playlist for you. There's a link down below in your description or at the end of this video. Plus, if this has been helpful for you, please subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see even more videos as they come out on how to make you a better sewer.